I'm 72 years old now, almost 73. Next month I'll be 73. And I've been riding motorcycles for 19 years. I started on a Vespa scooter. From there I graduated to a Zero electric bike, which I liked a lot, but it proved to be enormously unreliable. In 2 years of ownership, the master computer card went out 4 times, leaving me stranded in 4 different places. From there, I graduated to a bike that stayed old, the Yamaha SR400, a 2015 model, kickstart only. I really liked that bike, but it only had 20 horsepower, which was fine for commuting around Los Angeles, but wouldn't really do on the highway or the freeways of Los Angeles. It just didn't have enough punch. And then from there, I graduated to this, which is a 2021 Moto Guzzi V7 Stone. It's the 850 engine, and I want to tell you a little bit about what it is to be a 72-year-old motorcyclist, give you a little review of the bike, and a little review of the gear that I wear when I'm riding. I have almost 11,000 miles on the bike now, and I've enjoyed owning it. I bought it actually in 2022 when it was still a new bike, but was a year old, and the dealer was trying to get it off the lot, so I got a very good price on it. The bike has a transverse V-twin engine, as you can see, typical of all Moto Guzzis. The cylinders stick out on both sides, and that means that it gives it an interesting character. When I start the bike up, it gives a little shimmy from side to side, and as I'm stopped at traffic lights, I get the same kind of a shimmy from side to side as it's idling, which I like. It gives it some nice character, and it's not just a regular smooth 270-degree V-twin type engine. It's got more character than that. It has about 65 horsepower, 850cc engine. 65 horsepower I find is plenty for me and for my needs. It has enough pep to go at the speeds I want to go. I can always win the traffic light drag race. At highway speeds, 70 miles an hour, it's still only turning 4,100 RPM. So it's not vibey, it's not uncomfortable with vibrations when I'm riding on the highway because the revs are still fairly low. But it also has enough punch. Live near an airport. Got a small Cessna 172 flying across on its way to land at the Wiley Post Airport. So it has enough punch to keep up easily with highway speeds, keep up easily with traffic totally. And if I want to overtake on the highway, it has enough punch that I can just twist the throttle and go. I don't need to go down a gear or two to get the necessary power to do it, because it's not a very heavy bike. I think it's about 205 kilos. So it serves the needs that I want. It is an air-cooled engine, which I really like because I don't like to have to deal with the radiator. It is also chain maintenance free because it is a shaft-driven motorcycle, which is great for me because I'm not crazy about doing chain maintenance. It is non-adjustable suspension, except for preload on the rear, has twin shocks on the rear, but the ride is generally good. The original equipment tires were okay, but at about 8,000 miles, I swapped to these, which are Bridgestone BT46 tires, and I find that they are actually much better. They give better grip, they hold a line better, they have better ride quality. Overall, the ride quality on the bike is fine, but the original tires were a little bouncy, a little bit shock to the rear end when I would go over a big bump. These tires give a little more cushion, and I find that they have more grip. I can lean the bike more when I'm going around a corner. As you can see on the forks, there are the traditional gaiters, which I like the look of, and a nice round classic headlight. You can see here that it is the Moto Guzzi, of course, and it has this little sticker because it's a 1921 model. That was the 100-year anniversary of Moto Guzzi building motorcycles, 1921 to 2021. So I kind of like that little sticker. And the orange color catches a lot of attention. I get a lot of comments and compliments on the motorcycle. It is, of course, a naked bike, but as you can see, I've added this Dart windscreen Originally it has no windscreen at all, and so no wind protection, which is not a problem if you're just riding around town, but I found on highway speeds there was quite a bit of buffeting on my chest. I originally added a Dart fly screen, which I still have, and I would use during the summer when I want some airflow over my body to keep myself cool. But in the wintertime, I added this larger Dart fly screen to get a little more wind protection as I commute around in colder weather. As you can see, the tank here is fairly large for the size of the bike. It holds about 4 US gallons. Actually, I think it holds 5, but I always top it up and put 4 gallons in it to brim. And I get about 45 miles per gallon. So that gives me somewhere between 180 to 200 mile range out of a tank of gas, which is not bad at all. In terms of service, I've gotten it serviced about every 6,000 miles, which is what the manual recommends. At a dealer, it's about $300 each time. I have it serviced at a dealership because I'm a mechanical idiot and I cannot service it myself. Recently, I had to add half a quart of oil. The oil alarm light came on, even though it's only been about 3,000 miles since I last had it serviced. It burned a little oil, but since I added that half quart, it seems to be holding up okay. I've made a few modifications besides the Dart windscreen. You can see here I have a saddlebag on one side. This comes from Classic Rides. Classic Rides is a YouTuber. You might want to take a look at his stuff. And it's the perfect saddlebag for style. I think it goes very well with the Moto Guzzi, which of course is very retro classically styled. And so is the saddlebag. It doesn't hold a lot, but it holds enough for simple things that I want to carry around with me. And it just attaches easily by straps to this Hepco and Becker rack, which I also added. And I can either, as of course I have the saddlebag strapped to it, but I can also strap a bag onto the back and carry more stuff if I need to. Here's the cockpit view that I see when I'm riding. And I will turn it on here and show you the instrument panel as it starts up. You can see it's just a basic LED instrument panel, not even TFT. It has all the basic information on it. Of course, speedometer, odometer. Actually has 2 trip odometers, which is useful to keep track of my mileage between gas fill-ups because it has no fuel gauge. And so I have to reset that trip and that way know where I'm going and how far I've been going. You can see here there's about 95 miles since my last fill-up, which means I'm down to about half a tank. There is a gear indicator. Of course, right now it is in neutral. And that gear indicator is nice, but not great because it is delayed. I don't know what it is about the ride-by-wire throttle that does this, but the gear does not show up when the clutch is engaged. Only when the clutch is released and the bike is moving and revs are running does the gear indicator show up. And so it's not really very accurate to indicate what gear I'm in. The instrument panel itself is so-so looking. A lot of people say it looks like Baby Yoda. I kind of agree with that. I would prefer that it had analog clocks. The Moto Guzzi V7 Classic version did have dual analog clocks, at least up until a couple of years ago. Now I think even the Classic has gone to this LED instrument panel, which again I don't love, but it does serve the purpose. It also has a clock and outside air temperature, and that's useful certainly. Let me start it up. You'll see the little shimmy from side to side that I talked about. And you can hear the engine noise there, which is kind of good. I'll give you a closer up version of that here. I like this Moto Guzzi a lot, and I ride it as often as I can, several times a week. I don't ride it every day. Because I have a couple of other cars. I have, perhaps you can see in the background, a 2002 Porsche Boxster, which I also enjoy. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you would like me to do a little review of my Porsche Boxster. And of course, we have a family car as well. My wife does not like to ride on the motorcycle. And so when we're going somewhere together, we take her car, which is your standard Honda CR-V SUV thing. But enough talking about it. Let's go for a ride. This morning I thought it would be fun to ride down to an airport cafe. There's one at the Norman, Oklahoma airport, that's Westheimer Field, called the OK Diner, serving breakfast and lunch only. And it's fun to have something to eat, watch the airplanes come and go. I used to be a pilot. I actually still have a pilot's license. Once you have it, you always have it, but you don't stay current on the license unless you're flying regularly, which I am not. But I used to fly out of Santa Monica Airport in Los Angeles, and it was very kind of common, kind of a thing to do for people to go get what they called the $100 hamburger, where you would fly to another airport, go to the restaurant at that airport, and then fly back. It was just a destination so that you had somewhere to go. Really, the purpose was flying, of course, but it was nice to have a destination. The same thing holds true of riding the motorcycle. It's nice to have a destination, and an airport cafe is always fun. There are not very many airport cafes in Oklahoma. There are only 2, actually, that I know of, not counting, of course, the restaurants in the major airports of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. But in terms of general aviation airports, small airports, there are only 2 that have cafes or restaurants that I know of. Norman, Oklahoma, Westheimer Field is one of them, the OK Diner. And the other is in Ponca City, Oklahoma, where they have Enrique's Mexican restaurant on the airport grounds. Ponca City's too far, and Mexican food doesn't excite me for an airport cafe. It feels like it's not the right thing. It feels like it needs to be more traditional. So I'm driving down to Norman. It's a very windy day today. I hope that the sound is okay, because the wind is blowing 20 or 30 miles an hour, which makes it cool on the bike, because even though it's just March 22nd today, the high temperature in Oklahoma today Oklahoma City and Norman is going to be about 93, 94 degrees. Yesterday, March 21st, unbelievably, first day of spring, it hit 100 degrees in Oklahoma City. That is way too hot for this time of year. It makes me a little concerned about what's going to happen in July and August. We have arrived at the Westheimer Field Airport. They are building a whole new control tower. I'm going to turn the camera around and let you take a look at it, and then we'll go inside and have a little breakfast at the OK Diner. So here you can see they're building a whole new control tower, and over here is the older control tower and the building where the diner is, as well as offices and other facilities. But they're putting this whole new tower up right there, which will be, I guess, have much more visibility and be much better. The wind is blowing like crazy. You can see the flags there whipping around. Very windy. Hope the sound is not too bad. Over here you can see the airplanes parked up, and the School of Aviation is over there. And the restaurant has a nice view of this area. All of these planes are marked OU, so these are all planes owned by the University of Oklahoma and are used for the University of Oklahoma School of Aviation. The student pilots learn how to fly in all of these airplanes. Here we are coming inside the building. We're going to go into the OK Diner now, and I'll give you a little look at this part of the airport. It's pretty charming. Lots of interesting decorations and pictures from the past. So here we have the Pilot's Lounge, and over there you can see the OK Diner, where we'll go in and have a little breakfast in a minute. Out here is an area where the airplanes are parked up. You can see there's a couple of planes parked over there. People fly in, come eat at the restaurant, and fly back out. The runway is just right over there. And over here, got a little decoration for Easter, little play area for kids, and then we've got some historical sites, photographs here of way back when, University of Oklahoma Flight School in 1940. 1942, a flight instructor with the student. Visitors from Norman visiting the Naval Air Station, which at one time was here. No longer a Naval Air Station, but still an airport. Again, 1940, flight instructor assisting student with her parachute. All the students had to wear parachutes at that time. And here you can see in 1940 what they were training in. They were training in biplane airplanes. All the students lined up there in the class of 1940. So let's go inside the OK Diner. It's pretty busy, but I think there's some open tables. And we'll take a look at the menu and the decorations and enjoy breakfast. It's very busy today. You can probably hear the crowd in the background. Lots of people enjoying breakfast on this. It's a Sunday morning. And I'm going to enjoy a little breakfast. Let's take a look at the menu. Here is the breakfast menu, all the classics, biscuits for the table, biscuits and gravy, all kinds of egg dishes, French toast, breakfast burrito, omelets, pancakes, and a little on the lighter side, an acai bowl, and of course, avocado toast. We also have the lunch menu. The OK Diner is only open for breakfast and lunch. It closes down at 2 o'clock, but they have all the traditional lunches. The breakfast has arrived, and boy, does it look delicious. I'm going to turn the camera around and let you see it. Here it is. Got the pancake breakfast, got 2 eggs and sausage and fruit and pancakes and coffee, and this is way too much for me to eat. I think I have to call this brunch. There won't be any lunch today, but I'm going to dig in and enjoy it. Well, it was a delicious breakfast at the OK Diner, but I was a little defeated. I got a pancake in here. I could not finish everything, so I'm taking 1 pancake home with me. So it's time to get back on the bike and go back home. I'll wrap it up here. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.